The great hall of the Galactic Council was filled with hundreds of alien beings from across the galaxy. They sat in their floating chairs, talking and laughing among themselves. Most of them were not paying attention to the old warrior who stood in the center of the room. Commander Zekthol looked around at all the faces staring down at him. His body was covered in scars from many battles. His left arm was gone, lost in a war long ago. The other alien saw him as just another old soldier with crazy stories. He cleared his throat and spoke in a loud voice. Great members of the Council, I have come here today to warn you about something very important. You must not attack the humans in the Sol system. A few aliens laughed. Others rolled their eyes and went back to looking at their computer screens. Counselor Vexran from the hegemony stood up. He was tall and thin with blue skin and 4 arms. Commander, why should we listen to you? The humans are weak. They just learned how to travel between stars. They have no good weapons and no shields on their ships. Zekthol shook his head. You are wrong. I have fought next to humans in the Proxima War. Yes, their technology is not as good as ours, but they have something much more dangerous than plasma guns or energy shields. What could be more dangerous than our weapons? Asked another alien from the back of the room. They never give up, Zekthol said. Never. When other species lose a battle, they retreat. When they lose a war, they surrender. Humans do not know how to surrender. They will fight until every last one of them is dead. High Admiral Kuara stood up from his golden chair. He was the leader of the Stellar Dominion fleet. His species looked like giant insects with hard shells covering their bodies. Commander, are you telling us that we should be afraid of a species that still uses metal bullets in some of their weapons? Our ships can destroy planets. Their biggest ship is smaller than one of our fighters. The old warrior's remaining hand closed into a tight fist. Admiral, I have seen what humans can do when they are angry. During the Proxima War, I watched a human soldier fight for 3 days with a broken leg and a hole in his chest. He did not stop until the enemy was defeated. Then he asked for another mission. More laughter filled the hall. Counselor Vexran waved his hand. One soldier does not make a whole species dangerous. We have studied their history. They fight among themselves all the time. They cannot even work together on their own planet. That is exactly why they are dangerous, Zekthol said, his voice getting louder. They have been fighting wars for thousands of years. Every human is born knowing how to fight. When they fight each other, they learn new ways to win. When they fight us, they will use everything they have learned. Admiral Kuarth laughed so hard that his shell shook. Commander, I think your old age is making you see things that are not there. The humans have 50 small ships. We have over 2,000 ships that are each 10 times bigger than theirs. This will not be a war. It will be over in one day. Zekthol looked around the room. Nobody was listening to him anymore. They were all talking and laughing about how easy it would be to defeat the humans. He had seen this before. Other species had made the same mistake. You do not understand, he said, but his voice was lost in all the noise. Humans are not like other species. When you corner them, they do not run away. They become more dangerous. Every time you hurt them, they learn from it. Every time you beat them, they come back stronger. A young alien from the Science Council stood up. Commander, even if everything you say is true, how can 50 primitive ships defeat our great fleet? Their weapons cannot even get through our shields. Zekthol stared at the young alien. Because they will find a way. That is what humans do. They look at something that should be impossible, and they make it possible. They will study your shields until they find a weakness. They will watch how you fight until they know your every move. Then they will do something that no other species would ever think of doing. The whole grew quiet for a moment. Then Admiral QR spoke again. Commander, your warnings are noted, but the decision has already been made. The human system has resources that we need. They will surrender when they see our fleet, or they will be destroyed. Either way, their system will belong to us in 1 week. Zekthol felt his heart sink. He had tried to warn them, but they would not listen. He looked around the room one more time. When you attack the humans, remember what I have told you today. Remember that I tried to warn you. Because when this is over, you will wish you had listened to an old soldier who has seen what humans can do. The council voted to attack. Every member except Zekthol raised their hand to agree. The old warrior walked out of the hall alone, knowing that he had just watched his own people make the biggest mistake in galactic history. 6 months had passed since the Galactic Council made their decision. Now, the biggest fleet in galactic history was moving toward Earth. Over 2,000 alien ships flew through space like a dark cloud of death. At the front of this massive fleet was the Eternal Conquest, the largest warship ever built. Admiral Kuawa stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking at the screens that showed him the human solar system. He felt very pleased with himself. This would be the easiest victory of his long career. The humans would take one look at his fleet and surrender immediately. "Sir, we are now entering the outer edge of their system," reported his navigation officer. "Should we send the surrender message?" "Yes. Let us get this over with quickly," Admiral Kuawa said with a laugh. "I want to be back home in time for the victory celebration." Far away, near the planet Earth, Lieutenant Commander Jake Murphy was standing on the bridge of the UES Defiance. This was one of Earth's newest warships, but it looked tiny compared to the alien vessels approaching their system. Jake looked at the radar screen and felt his stomach drop. There were so many red dots that they covered the entire display. Captain Elena Rodriguez walked up next to him. She was a small woman with dark hair, but everyone in the fleet knew she was one of their best commanders. She studied the tactical display with calm eyes, even though Jake could see her hands shaking slightly. "There are so many of them," Jake said quietly. "How are we supposed to fight that?" Elena looked at him and smiled. "The same way humans have always fought when the odds were against us. We find a way, or we die trying." The communications officer, Ben Clark, turned around in his chair. "Captain, we're getting a message from the lead alien ship. They want to talk." "Put it on the main screen," Elena ordered. The screen flickered and then showed the face of Admiral Kuawa. Jake had never seen an alien before, and the sight made him step backward. The Admiral looked like a giant insect with 4 eyes and sharp teeth. When he spoke, his voice sounded like metal scraping against stone. "Humans of Earth," Admiral Kuawa began. "I am Admiral Kuawa of the Galactic Alliance. You are surrounded by over 2,000 warships. Your entire species now belongs to us. You will surrender immediately and prepare to be integrated into our alliance. Any resistance will result in the complete destruction of your planet." Jake felt fear run through his body like ice water. He looked around the bridge and saw the same fear in the eyes of his crewmates. But Captain Rodriguez stepped forward, her back straight and her voice steady. "This is Captain Elena Rodriguez of the United Earth Fleet," she said. "We have received your message, and our answer is no. Earth and this entire system are under the protection of humanity. We do not surrender." Admiral Kuawa's 4 eyes widened in surprise. Then he began to laugh. The sound was horrible, like breaking glass mixed with screaming metal. "Captain, do you understand what you are saying? I command the largest fleet in galactic history. You have maybe 50 small ships. Your weapons cannot even scratch the paint on our hulls." Elena looked directly into the alien's eyes. "Then you clearly do not know very much about humans." "I know enough," Admiral Kuawa replied. "I know that your species is young and weak. I know that you fight with primitive weapons. I know that you will all be dead or enslaved within the next few hours." "Admiral," Elena said, her voice growing colder, "let me teach you something about my species. We have been fighting wars since before we could write. We have fought each other, we have fought nature, and we have fought against odds that would make other species give up before they started. Every human child grows up hearing stories about people who refuse to quit when everyone told them they should." Admiral Kuawa stopped laughing. "Your stories will not save you from plasma cannons, Captain." "Maybe not," Elena agreed, "but they will teach you why attacking Earth was the biggest mistake you ever made." Jake watched as his captain reached for the communications button. Her finger hovered over it for just a moment. Then she pressed it and cut off the transmission. The bridge was completely silent. Everyone stared at Elena, waiting to see what she would do next. She turned around and looked at each member of her crew. "Well," she said with a small smile, "I guess we're going to war. Ben, send a message to all ships in the fleet. Tell them that Earth does not surrender. Tell them that we fight." As Ben sent the message, Jake felt something change inside him. The fear was still there, but now it was mixed with something else. Pride. His captain had just told the most powerful fleet in the galaxy that humanity would not bow down. They might all die in the next few hours, but they would die as free people. Admiral Kuawa stared at his blank screen for a long moment. Then he turned to his weapons officer. "Begin the attack. Show these primitives what happens when they refuse the generosity of the Galactic Alliance." The war for humanity's survival had begun. The first battle began near the asteroid belt, far from Earth. Admiral Lisa Stone commanded the human fleet from her ship, the UES Vigilant. She was an older woman with gray hair and sharp eyes who had spent 30 years in Earth's Navy. Now she faced the biggest challenge of her life. "All ships, this is Admiral Stone." She spoke into her communication device. "Remember what we practiced. We are not trying to win this battle. We are trying to learn how they fight." Commander Ryan Brooks was flying his fighter ship through the asteroid field. Behind him flew 20 other small human fighters. They looked like tiny insects compared to the massive alien ships approaching them. "Phoenix Squadron, stay close to the asteroids," Ryan said to his pilots. "Use them for cover and watch how the aliens move." The alien fleet moved forward in perfect formation. Their ships were huge and covered in armor that gleamed like metal. Energy shields surrounded each vessel, making them look like they were wrapped in blue light. On the bridge of the Eternal Conquest, Admiral Kuarth watched the human ships with amusement. "Look how they hide behind rocks like scared children. This will be over in minutes." His tactical officer, Zarv, was studying the scanner displays. "So, the human ships are moving in very strange patterns. They are not following any combat formation that we know about." "Because they do not know how to fight in space," Admiral Kuarth replied. "They are probably panicking." But the humans were not panicking. Lieutenant Amy Foster was flying her fighter in wide circles around a large asteroid. She was watching the alien ships carefully, noting how they moved and how their weapons fired. "Ryan, are you seeing this?" she called her squadron leader. "Their big ships turn very slowly, and their weapons always fire in straight lines." "I see it," Ryan replied. "Keep watching. We need to learn everything we can." The alien ships began firing their plasma cannons. Bright green beams of energy shot through space, destroying several asteroids. But the human fighters were no longer where the aliens expected them to be. Admiral Stone watched the battle from her command center. Her ships were spread out all over the asteroid field, each one doing something different. Some were attacking, others were running away, and some were just watching. "Admiral, the aliens are getting frustrated," reported her tactical officer, Lieutenant Sam Morgan. "They keep trying to hit our fighters, but we keep moving in ways they do not expect." "Good," Admiral Stone said. "What else do we know about their ships?" "Their shields are very strong, but they flicker for just a moment every time they fire their weapons," Sam replied. "Also, their big ships cannot turn quickly. If we can get behind them, they have trouble targeting us." Commander Brooks was leading his squadron in attack on one of the smaller alien ships. Instead of flying straight at it, they approached from 5 different directions at once. "Phoenix Squadron, remember what we learned," Ryan said. "Hit them right when their shields flicker, then get out of there fast." The human fighters attacked all at the same time. Their weapons were much weaker than the alien guns, but they hit the ship at the exact moment when its shields were down. Small explosions appeared on the alien hull. "Sir, the humans just damaged one of our ships," Zarv reported to Admiral Kuarth. "How is that possible? Their weapons should not be able to get through our shields." Admiral Kuarth stared at the display screen. "It must be luck. Continue the attack." But it was not luck. All across the battlefield, human pilots were learning how to fight the aliens. They discovered that the alien ships had blind spots where their weapons could not fire. They learned that the aliens always attacked in the same patterns. Most importantly, they figured out exactly when the shields were weakest. Lieutenant Foster was now flying her fighter inside the engine exhaust of a large alien ship. The aliens could not shoot at her without hitting their own vessel. "This is crazy," her wingman said over the radio. "You are going to get us both killed." "Maybe," Amy replied, "but look what I found. Their engines have no armor on the backside. If we can get enough ships back here, we can do some real damage." The battle lasted for 4 hours. When it was over, the humans had lost 12 ships. The aliens had lost only 3. By normal standards, the aliens had won, but Admiral Stone was smiling. "What did we learn?" she asked her officers. "We learned that their shields have a rhythm," Sam Morgan replied. "We learned that their big ships cannot turn fast. We learned where their blind spots are. And we learned that they always do the same thing in every situation." And most importantly, Admiral Stone added, "We learned that they can be hurt. Their ships are not invincible." On the alien flagship, Admiral Q'Arth was not as happy as he expected to be. Yes, they had won the battle, but it had taken much longer than planned, and the humans had actually managed to damage some of his ships. "Sir, what are your orders?" asked Zarth. "We continue to Earth," Admiral Q'Arth replied, "but increase our speed. I want this war finished quickly." What the Admiral did not know was that the humans were already preparing for the next battle, and this time they would use everything they had learned. 3 weeks had passed since the first battle. The alien fleet had pushed the human ships all the way back to Mars. Admiral Q'Arth was feeling very confident. His ships controlled most of the solar system now, and Earth looked helpless. "Sir, we have destroyed over half of their fleet," reported Zal from his station. "The humans are running out of ships to fight with." Admiral Q'Arth nodded with satisfaction. "Excellent. Soon we will move to Earth and finish this war. These humans fight harder than I expected, but they cannot win against our superior numbers." But something strange was happening that the aliens did not know about. Deep underground on Earth, in hidden factories and caves, millions of humans were working day and night. They were building something that would change everything. Chief Engineer Carl Davis had not slept in 3 days. He stood in a massive underground factory, watching thousands of workers build new weapons and ship parts. The air was hot and filled with the sound of metal being cut and welded. "How many ships do we have ready?" Carl asked his assistant, a young woman named Linda Price. 4 to 7 new ships are complete," Linda replied, reading from her tablet. "And we have upgraded every ship that survived the battles. They all have the new weapons and armor now." Carl smiled for the first time in weeks. "And the special project?" "The plasma torpedoes are ready for testing," Linda said. "We use the alien technology that Commander Brooks brought back from his last mission." Far above them, Captain Elena Rodriguez was looking at her ship with amazement. The UES Defiance looked completely different now. The hull was covered with new armor that sparkled like the alien shields. New weapons were mounted all over the ship, and the engines glowed with alien energy. "How did you do this so fast?" Elena asked Carl Davis over the communication system. "We took apart every piece of alien technology we could find," Carl replied. "Then we figured out how to make it work with our systems. It was not easy, but humans are good at copying things and making them better." Lieutenant Sam Morgan was testing the new weapon systems. "Captain, these plasma torpedoes are incredible. They are 3 times more powerful than our old missiles, and the new armor can stop most of their energy beams." Elena nodded. "What about the other ships?" "Every ship in the fleet has been upgraded," Sam replied. "But more importantly, we now understand how they think. We know their tactics, their weaknesses, and their patterns." Admiral Lisa Stone was in the command center, planning the counterattack. She had been studying the alien battle for weeks, learning everything she could about how they fought. "The aliens always attack the same way," she explained to her officers. "They form a line, move forward slowly, and shoot at whatever's in front of them. They never expect their enemies to do anything unexpected." Commander Ryan Brooks, who had survived every battle so far, was excited about the new fighter ships. "Admiral, these new fighters are amazing. They are faster than the alien ships, and they can turn in ways that should be impossible." "Good," Admiral Stone replied, "because we are going to need every advantage we can get. The aliens think they have already won this war. We are going to show them how wrong they are." On Mars, Lieutenant Amy Foster was preparing for the biggest battle of her life. Her fighter squadron had been rebuilt with new ships that looked nothing like the old ones. They were sleek and fast, with weapons that could punch through alien armor. "Phoenix Squadron, this is our chance to hit back," Amy said to her pilots. "We have been running and hiding for 3 weeks. Now we get to show these aliens what happens when you make humans angry." The plan was simple but dangerous. The human fleet would pretend to make a desperate last attack near Jupiter. The aliens would think this was humanity's final attempt to save Earth. They would bring all their ships to Jupiter to finish the war once and for all. But the humans had a surprise waiting for them. Admiral Kuawith received the news that the human fleet was gathering near Jupiter. "Finally," he said with satisfaction, "they are going to make their last stand. Send all our ships to Jupiter. I want to destroy every human vessel in one great battle." "Sir, should we keep some ships back to guard our supply lines?" asked Zarv. "No," Admiral Kuawith replied. "We will not need them. After this battle, there will be no more human resistance." What the Admiral did not know was that the humans had been planning this moment for weeks. They had let the aliens push them back to Mars on purpose. They had pretended to be weak and desperate while they built new ships and weapons in secret. Carl Davis watched the fleet preparation from his underground factory. "They are about to learn something important about humans," he said to Linda. "We do not just fight back. We fight back smarter." Admiral Stone gave the final order to her fleet. "All ships, move to Jupiter. It is time to show the galaxy what humans can do when we stop playing defense." The upgraded human fleet moved through space toward Jupiter. Their ships looked different now, covered with alien technology but still unmistakably human. They were faster, stronger, and deadlier than ever before. But most importantly, they were ready to fight like humans had never fought before. The real war was about to begin. The battle at Jupiter began at dawn on Earth time. Admiral Kuawith brought his entire fleet to the gas giant, expecting to crush the last human resistance in one final fight. He commanded over 1,500 ships, all arranged in perfect battle formation. "Today we end this pointless war," Admiral Kuawith announced to his fleet. "The humans have nowhere left to run. Destroy them all." Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the rebuilt UES Defiance, watching the massive alien fleet approach. Her ship was now covered in stolen alien technology, but it still carried the Earth flag proudly on its hull. "All human ships. This is Captain Rodriguez," she spoke into her communicator. "Execute Plan Thunderstorm. Show them what we learned." The human fleet did something that shocked every alien commander. Instead of forming a battle line like normal space forces, the human ships scattered in all directions. Some dug toward Jupiter's surface, others shot up toward the planet's moons, and many disappeared behind the gas giant's swirling clouds. "Sir, what are they doing?" asked Zarv, staring at his scanner in confusion. "This is not how space battles are fought." Admiral Kuawith watched the human ships spread across the entire Jupiter system. "They are panicking. Follow them and destroy them one by one." But the humans were not panicking. They were using Jupiter itself as a weapon. Commander Ryan Brooks led his fighter squadron into Jupiter's upper atmosphere. The thick gas clouds hid his ships from alien sensors, and the planet's strong magnetic field made their targeting systems go crazy. "Phoenix Squadron, remember the plan," Ryan said to his pilots. "Use the planet's gravity to speed up, then hit them from below where they do not expect us." The alien ships tried to follow the human fighters into the atmosphere, but their heavy vessels were not built for atmospheric flight. Several alien ships were pulled into Jupiter's gravity well and crushed by the immense pressure. Admiral Lisa Stone was commanding the main human fleet from a position behind Jupiter's largest moon. She watched as the alien ships tried to chase her scattered forces. "Now they are spread out all over the system," she said to her tactical officer. "Just like we wanted. Begin Phase 2. Lieutenant Amy Foster was flying her new fighter at incredible speed around one of Jupiter's moons. She was using the moon's gravity to slingshot her ship faster than any alien vessel could match. "This is impossible," she heard an alien pilot say over the intercepted communications. "How can they move so fast?" Amy smiled inside her helmet. "Because we learned physics from a planet that tried to kill us every day for millions of years." The human ships began attacking from every direction at once. They came from above, below, and from behind the moons. They used Jupiter's gravity, magnetic field, and atmospheric pressure as weapons against the alien fleet. Captain Rodriguez led a group of 20 ships in a diving attack from Jupiter's North Pole. They fell toward the alien fleet like meteors, using the planet's gravity to reach speeds that should have been impossible. "All ships, fire plasma torpedoes on my mark," Elena commanded. 3, 2, 1, mark. The new human weapons, built from stolen alien technology, tore through the alien shields like paper. Ships that had seemed invincible just weeks ago exploded in bright flashes of light. Admiral Kiwawith watched in horror as his perfect fleet was torn apart by an enemy that refused to fight like civilized beings. How are they doing this? Our shield should stop their weapons. Sir, they are using our own technology against us, Zalf reported. But they have changed it somehow, made it more powerful. That is impossible, Admiral Kiwawith replied. It takes decades to understand plasma technology. What the Admiral did not understand was that humans had been forced to learn quickly their entire history. When faced with a new problem, they did not spend years studying it. They found a solution fast or they died. Commander Brooks pulled his fighter out of Jupiter's atmosphere and found himself behind a massive alien battleship. The alien crew never saw him coming. "This is for oath," Ryan said, firing all his weapons at once. The alien ship's engines exploded, sending it spinning out of control into Jupiter's crushing embrace. All across the battlefield, human ships were winning fights they should have lost. They used tactics that made no sense to alien minds. They flew in formations that should have been impossible. They turned Jupiter's own environment into their ally. Lieutenant Foster led a squadron in an attack on the alien flagship itself. "Phoenix Squadron, let's show the Admiral what humans think of his surrender demands." The human fighters swarmed around the eternal conquest like angry bees. Their new weapons hammered at the alien ship shields, which had never been designed to handle attacks from so many different angles at once. Admiral Stone watched the battle from her command ship. After 16 hours of fighting, the alien fleet was broken. Over half their ships were destroyed or badly damaged. The human losses were minimal. "Admiral Kiwawith is trying to retreat," reported her communications officer. "Let him run," Admiral Stone replied. "But make sure he takes a message back to his people." For the first time since the invasion began, the aliens were running away from humans. The species they had thought was weak and primitive had just handed them the worst defeat in their military history. Admiral Kiwawith sat in his damaged command chair, staring at the ruins of his once mighty fleet. "How did this happen?" he whispered. Zalf looked at the scanner readings. "Sir, I think we made a terrible mistake. These humans do not fight like any species we have ever encountered." The Admiral finally understood what Commander Zekthal had tried to warn them about. Humans were not just another primitive species. They were something much more dangerous. They were survivors who had learned to turn every disadvantage into a weapon. News of the defeat at Jupiter spread across the galaxy like wildfire. In council chambers and military headquarters throughout known space, alien leaders stared at their communication screens in disbelief. The humans had not just survived. They had won. Commander Zekthal sat in his home on the planet Volth, reading the battle reports with a heavy heart. He had tried to warn them, but nobody had listened. Now the galaxy was about to learn what happened when humans stopped defending and started hunting. "The human fleet has grown to over 300 ships," Zekthal said to his aide. "They are not just replacing their losses. They are building new vessels faster than we can destroy them." His aide looked confused. "How is that possible, Commander? Their planet should not have the resources to build so many ships." Zekthal pointed to his data screen. "Because they are not just building ships on Earth anymore. Look at these reports. They have set up construction facilities on Mars, on their moon, and on asteroids throughout their system. Every rock in their solar system is now a weapons factory." Meanwhile, Admiral Lisa Stone was standing in the command center of her new flagship, the UES Retribution. Through the window, she could see dozens of human ships moving through space in perfect formation. But these were not the same desperate defenders who had fought at the asteroid belt. These were hunters. "What is our current fleet strength?" Admiral Stone asked her new tactical officer, Lieutenant Kate Johnson. 312 ships, Admiral," Kate replied, "all equipped with the latest technology. We have also completed the training of our new fighter pilots. We now have over 2,000 combat-ready fighters." Admiral Stone nodded with satisfaction. "And what about our intelligence reports on alien fleet movements?" "The aliens are trying to regroup near Saturn," Kate reported. "They still have about 800 ships, but they are spread out across multiple locations. They seem afraid to concentrate their forces." "Good," Admiral Stone said. "Fear makes them predictable. Commodore Rodriguez, how are your strike teams doing? Elena Rodriguez, now promoted for her bravery at Jupiter, appeared on the communication screen. Admiral, my battle groups have been hitting alien supply lines for 2 weeks. We have destroyed 15 supply convoys and captured enough alien technology to equip 50 more ships. The human strategy had changed completely. Instead of waiting for the aliens to attack, human ships now hunted alien forces throughout the solar system. They appeared without warning, struck hard, and disappeared before the aliens could respond. Lieutenant Amy Foster was leading one of these hunting missions near Saturn's rings. Her squadron of 30 fighters moved silently through the ice and rock, tracking an alien patrol. Phoenix Squadron, we have 3 alien ships ahead, Amy whispered into her communicator. They do not know we are here. Remember, we hit them fast and get out before their friends arrive. The human fighters attacked like a pack of wolves. They came from 3 different directions, using the ring debris as cover. Their new weapons, improved with stolen alien technology, tore through the alien ships in seconds. Target destroyed, Amy reported. All fighters, return to base. Another successful hunt. Back on the alien flagship, Admiral Qearth was becoming desperate. His once mighty fleet was being slowly picked apart by human attack groups that seemed to be everywhere at once. Sir, we have lost another patrol near Saturn, reported Zaoth. That makes 23 ships destroyed this week. Admiral Qearth slammed his fist on his command chair. How are they doing this? We have more ships than they do. We should be hunting them, not the other way around. Sir, the humans are not fighting like a normal fleet, Zaoth explained. They break into small groups and attack our weakest points. When we send ships to chase them, they disappear. When we try to protect one area, they attack somewhere else. The truth was that humans had learned to fight in space the same way they had fought on Earth for thousands of years. They used guerrilla tactics, hit-and-run attacks, and psychological warfare to defeat enemies who were bigger and stronger than they were. Commander Ryan Brooks was leading a special mission deep into alien-controlled space. His task force of 50 ships had been hiding in an asteroid field for 3 days, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Ryan, are you sure about this? Asked his wingman over the radio. There are 200 alien ships in that fleet. That is exactly why we are going to attack them, Ryan replied. They think they are safe because they have so many ships. They are not expecting 30 human fighters to come screaming out of an asteroid field. The attack was devastating. The human fighters used the asteroids as shields and weapons, pushing huge rocks into the alien formation while firing their plasma torpedoes. The aliens had no idea how to respond to an enemy that used the environment itself as a weapon. Admiral Stone watched the battle reports come in from across the solar system. Human forces were winning every engagement. The aliens were losing ships faster than they could replace them, while human production continued to increase. Admiral, we are receiving surrender requests from several alien ships, Kate Johnson reported. They want to leave human space and return to their home worlds. Denied, Admiral Stone replied coldly. They came here to conquer us. They wanted to see what humans do when we are threatened. Now they will learn what we do to those who threaten our families. The psychological effect on the alien forces was devastating. For the first time in their history, they were facing an enemy that seemed to grow stronger with every battle. Ships that had conquered dozens of worlds were now afraid to leave their defensive positions. Commander Zekthol received another urgent message from the Galactic Council. They wanted him to return to active duty and help them understand how to fight the humans. It is too late, Zekthol said to his aide. I tried to warn them that humans were dangerous. Now the humans have learned our technology, studied our tactics, and figured out our weaknesses. The hunters have become the hunted. Across the solar system, human ships continued their relentless campaign. Every day brought new victories and new captured alien technology. The species that had barely achieved interstellar travel just months ago was now the most feared military force in known space. The galaxy was about to learn that when humans stop defending their home and start hunting their enemies, there is nowhere in the universe to hide. The final battle came when Admiral Qearth tried to escape from the solar system. His once great fleet had been reduced to less than 300 ships. Many were damaged, and all were running low on supplies. The crew members were scared and wanted to go home. "So, the human fleet is blocking our path to the outer system," reported Zav, his voice shaking with fear. "They have over 500 ships waiting for us." Admiral QR stared at the display screen. The human fleet surrounded his remaining ships in a perfect circle. There was no way out. The aliens who had come to conquer Earth were now trapped like animals. How did this happen? Admiral QR whispered, "We had the biggest fleet in galactic history. We had technology thousands of years more advanced than theirs." From her flagship, Admiral Lisa Stone opened a communication channel to all the alien ships. Her voice was calm and cold as she spoke to the beings who had come to destroy her world. "Admiral Kuarith, this is Admiral Lisa Stone of the United Earth Fleet. You wanted to see what humans are capable of when we are threatened. You have seen us defend our home. Now you will see what we do to those who try to harm our families." The alien admiral tried to respond, but his voice cracked with fear. "Admiral Stone, surely we can make some kind of agreement. We can negotiate terms for our withdrawal." "The time for negotiation ended when you ignored our refusal to surrender," Admiral Stone replied. "You came here with over 2,000 ships to conquer and enslave us. You told us that resistance was pointless. You were wrong." Captain Elena Rodriguez, now commanding her own battle group, watched the alien fleet with satisfaction. The ships that had once seemed so powerful and frightening now looked small and helpless, surrounded by human vessels. "Admiral, what are your orders?" Elena asked over the communication system. "Give them a choice," Admiral Stone replied. "They can surrender unconditionally and be allowed to return home with a message, or they can fight and be destroyed. Either way, they will never threaten Earth again." Commander Ryan Brooks was flying patrol around the alien fleet with his fighter squadron. He could see alien crew members through the windows of their ships. They looked terrified. Many were the same beings who had laughed when humans refused to surrender just months ago. "Phoenix Squadron, maintain formation." Ryan ordered his pilots. "Do not fire unless they try to run or fight back." Lieutenant Amy Foster was flying next to Ryan. She remembered the first battle of the asteroid belt, when human ships had seemed so small and weak compared to the alien vessels. Now the situation was completely reversed. "It is hard to believe these are the same aliens who almost destroyed us," Amy said over the radio. "They look so scared now." Admiral Kuara tried one more time to save his fleet. "Admiral Stone, you must understand that we were following orders from the Galactic Council. We did not want to attack your world." "Then you should have disobeyed those orders," Admiral Stone replied. "That is what humans would have done. We do not follow orders that tell us to hurt innocent people." The alien admiral realized that there was no way out. The humans had them completely surrounded and outgunned. For the first time in his long military career, he was going to have to surrender. I surrender," Admiral Kuara said quietly. "My fleet surrenders unconditionally." "Smart choice," Admiral Stone replied. "All alien ships will power down their weapons and prepare to be escorted out of this system. You will carry a message back to your Galactic Council." Chief Engineer Carl Davis was watching the surrender from his command center on Earth. Around him, thousands of workers continued building new ships and weapons. The production had not stopped even though the war was almost over. "What happens now?" asked his assistant, Linda Price. "Now the galaxy learns that Earth is not a target," Carl replied. "We are a force to be respected." As the alien ships prepared to leave, Admiral Stone sent her message to the Galactic Council. "To all members of the Galactic Alliance, this is Admiral Lisa Stone of the United Earth Fleet. Your invasion of our system has failed. Any future attempts to threaten Earth or humanity will be met with the full force of our military. We did not seek this war, but we finished it." Commander Zekthal received the message on his home world. He felt both sad and proud as he listened to the human admiral's words. Sad because so many good soldiers had died in a war that should never have happened. Proud because the humans had proven him right about their strength and determination. "The council should have listened to me," Zekthal said to his aide. "I tried to tell them that humans were different, that they do not surrender when things get difficult, that they become more dangerous when they are cornered." As the defeated alien fleet left the solar system, they carried with them the knowledge that would change the galaxy forever. Humanity was no longer the primitive species that other civilizations could ignore or conquer. They had evolved into something far more dangerous. The aliens had come to Earth expecting to find a weak species that would surrender quickly. Instead, they found a race of beings who treated impossible challenges as opportunities to grow stronger. They discovered a civilization that could learn, adapt, and overcome any obstacle. Admiral Stone watched the last alien ship disappear from her scanners. The war was over, but she knew this was just the beginning. Humanity would never again be seen as weak or defensible by the galaxy. "What are your orders now, Admiral?" asked Lieutenant Kate Johnson. Admiral Stone smiled as she looked out at the stars. "Now we explore. Now we grow. Now we show the galaxy what humans can accomplish when we are not fighting for our survival." The age of human expansion had begun. The galaxy would never be the same.